All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Vapor Sports. We have another video for you today. The Denver Broncos played the New York Jets in the Trevor Lawrence Bowl last night. And the Broncos ended up coming away with a win. 37-28 was the final score. Although you may be mistaken, the Jets did not score 4 touchdowns. They scored like 2 touchdowns and then like a bunch of field goals and crap. They didn't get a 2-point conversion. You get it. But yeah, really kind of an it was an ugly game for sure, but not in the way that I think most people expected, including myself. The over/under was 40 points, and the Broncos alone almost hit that. So yeah, a lot more scoring than I think anyone could have predicted, really. But yeah, still an ugly game though. You have some stats for me, Tate?
Yeah, sure. So the Jets are now 0-4. Denver Broncos are 1-3. So for the Broncos, Brett Ripien, I believe is his name.
Rippin', yeah.
He started today over Ripien. I'm sorry.
Brett
He
ripping it.
started over Jeff Driscoll. He started over Jeff Driscoll and was 19 out of 31, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also 3 picks.
Right.
Melvin Gordon was a really big factor. He had this one like crazy run for a touchdown that I'm pretty sure like if he had been stopped at the line, it would have been like no game, but somehow he got out of it.
Yeah.
He was 23 carries, 107, 2 touchdowns. And then Tim Patrick with 6 catches, 113, and also a touchdown.
Right.
Jerry Jeudy also had a touchdown as well.
Oh yeah.
Then as for the Jets, Sam Darnold, 23 out of 42, 230, 0 touchdowns though. He also had 6 carries for 84 and a touchdown.
Yep.
And their leading receiver was Jamison Crowder with 7 for 104.
Yep. Well, yeah, he was actually their lead rusher. So Broncos did good as far as run defense went. Although the Jets' run game isn't really something to be respected in any kind of way. I want to start with the Broncos offense because obviously they scored 37 points. In a lot of ways, they were actually the good side. I think the defense has been the solid part of this team lately. Basically since 2014 or 13, the defense has been pretty consistently good. It's been like going in between top 2 and top 10 in the last few years. But the offense, not too bad. I mean, again, I think I'm going to be complimenting the Broncos a lot. And what I think everyone has to keep in mind is it's the Jets. But I think, especially for such a young team with so many rookies and so many second-year players and a quarterback who isn't his second year, but this is kind of like his rookie year because he was on practice squad all last year. Got to keep in mind, you know, it's the Jets, but it's a win, and wins can really help teams morally. So start with the offense. Brett Rippin. First half looked fantastic. Second half, he threw a touchdown, but also he had those 3 picks. Actually, no, I think 1 pick was in the first half. So his first pick in the first half should have just thrown the ball away. I think he was maybe like kind of throwing the ball away, but the cornerback made a pretty nice toe tap grab. He should have just thrown it way out of bounds where no one could have caught it. So that was pretty stupid. That was a rookie mistake, something that can be fixed. The other 2 interceptions were only separated by 1 pass attempt in between each other. They looked pretty similar. The pick 6, I believe, was thrown into triple coverage, which I don't know what he was doing there. He was getting some pressure, but I think he was a little too what's the word? He was just a little too quick to throw it. And the other interception, I don't remember what happened, but I think it was rookie mistakes really. But for someone starting their first game on the road with such little notice, not too bad, I'd say. I think it's something that I think he could end up being a good backup quarterback. Melvin Gordon, if we did do a prediction video for this game, Melvin Gordon, I would have said that Melvin Gordon would have to go over 100 for the Broncos to win. He did do that. Although, it was on the final touchdown, he got quite a few of those yards. But I mean, big runs are big runs, and I think once Drew Lock comes back, I think Brett Rippin could play a little bit of tight end. What do you think, Tate?
I don't know about that. Well, I was about to say that Melvin Gordon touchdown at the end kind of sealed the deal for them. Yeah, I mean, the Jets defense has not looked very good. But yeah, we can talk about the Jets later and what their situation is like. I was gonna say the other person that stood out to me was Bradley Chubb.
Yep, two and
He
a half
had that
sacks.
one
Beautiful.
sack on, yeah, had that one sack on Sam Darnold on their, I believe it was the Jets' last possession.
Oh yeah,
That
their
also
last
kind
play.
of
Yeah.
sealed the deal. So it's good to see him back, after that injury that he went through. So
Yeah, I
congrats to
totally
him.
agree with that. I mean, like we said, he was playing against the third string left tackle, but usually, I think this could be motivational for him to get back to the shape he was in 2018. Because
Yeah.
that was his rookie year was quite good, and then last year obviously he was injured for, I think, like 14 of the 16 games or something like that. But yeah. Tim Patrick, impressed with him. Cortland Sutton's out, and he's kind of the closest thing to have to him, and he's stepped up big time. He had a big 40-yard catch. He had a touchdown catch, of course. He had a couple big grabs. Jerry Jeudy, he kind of got it's 20% luck, 80% skill on that touchdown. I mean, yes, the guy should have intercepted it, but at the same time, to be able to catch the ball reaching over a guy after it bounced off his helmet is quite a difficult task. So, I mean, I was pretty happy. That was a pretty sweet touchdown. Brett Rippon went well over his. Vegas had him at like 100 or I think it was like 205 yards, 205 and a half yards, and he hit like he was almost 250. He's in the 240s, I believe. I don't remember exactly what you said. Sam Darnold, I think, had a few more yards than him, but also he threw for some touchdowns. Yeah, Melvin Gordon, 2 touchdown runs. A lot of stuff with the Broncos. I would say there were a lot of things like the penalties on the Jets, 118 yards against them, so that helped them out. It definitely dug them out of some holes they were going to be in. Also, I want to give a shout out to Brandon Mcmanus, who got paid recently and showed us why. Because with the kickers, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's all hard kicks. He hit like a 53-yarder, a 50, maybe like a 50-yarder, and then like a 43-yarder. All beautiful kicks. Yeah, really happy. Brandon McManus has been one of those things on the Broncos that has been consistent lately. As for the Jets, Sam Darnold's run on the first drive. I mean, granted,
That was really impressive.
it was a very impressive run. I think it's partly Sam Darnold being a pretty elusive runner. I think it was a little unexpected, but also 3 of the Broncos' best players kind of just outright fell on their face on that play. So I think it was a combination of both. I have to give Darnold some credit, but at the same time, you guys, especially Justin Simmons and Alexander Johnson, have to make those plays. But yeah. So I mean, it's a good thing the Broncos came away with the win. I think people are a little hard on the Broncos. I'm on like some like larger NFL like Discords and like Instagrams and stuff, and everyone's like, Broncos are the worst team. And I'm like, yeah, man, but they're playing with a third-string quarterback, and most of their players out. And I mean, I know that's like not an excuse, but it kind of is an excuse when you think about it.
I was gonna say, well, I think for the Jets, it's not really more embarrassing. It's just more. The thing about it is that they actually did have a chance to win this game. Like I think there were like 3 minutes left. That Denver turned it over. And what was weird is that Adam Gase was calling timeouts on that. I believe it was like 1 minute left, and he called 2 timeouts. And so Denver, like, they tried to attempt a 4th and long to just run off the clock.
Yeah.
And then you have, I believe it was Steve McManus, just like he absolutely destroyed Ripien. But again, that's a flag, and honestly, at the end of the game, it didn't make sense. And I was going to mention Vic Fangio didn't shake Adam Gase's hand at the end of the game, and pretty sure that there was some bad blood between them. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so for that, I think it was less of Vic Fangio having bad blood with Gase, and I think it was more of he wanted to get all his players in the locker room because things were getting heated on the field. I think he would have, he still would have shook hands with Gase because it's not really Gase's fault that happened. He doesn't call the defense. He just wanted to make sure that his players didn't get any kind of confrontations or anything like that. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know about this until right before the Broncos played. I didn't know who Greg Williams was, but I kind of heard about him, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, that's, the Jets are the Jets, but that's kind of a scary defensive coordinator, and the whole thing that happened with the Saints a while back, and basically ending Brett Favre's career. But yeah, what happened at the end of the game, I wasn't really thinking about that in the moment. At the time, I was just like, that's lousy. But then, post game, doing some research afterwards, I was like, oh man. And I mean, I've been watching like a lot of Broncos media and media outside, and it's kind of gone like, hey, those are cheap shots, and some people are saying it's the Broncos for not protecting. I know that on the second, or maybe it was the first play, a tight end and the running back, Melvin Gordon, didn't block. They just decided not to block, I guess. So the first one's kind of on the Broncos for sure. And, it still was a cheap shot, but you got to at least try and block. The second one, though, I feel like was the even more I feel like if the first one happened, all that stuff wouldn't have happened. But with that second penalty, that's where I was kind of like, yeah, but that's kind of cheap, So
What would you say is the timetable for Adam Gase, or how much time do you think Adam Gase has left as the Jets coach? Do you think he's going to be fired in the season or after? 'Cause to me, I kind of feel
that's hard to say. People were saying if he
I don't
lost
know.
this game, he'd be fired, and I thought that was a little excessive. But
I think it's a little too early.
I think he
But
has a few more weeks to win a game or two. I think if in like the next 5 or 6 weeks he wins 1 or 2 games, I think he'll at least, if he wins 1 or 2 games the next 5 games, he'll have a chance to make it to the end of the season, is what I'm saying. As for at the end of the season, I think there's a good chance he'll be losing his job. I just don't know if it'll be, before the season ends or not.
yeah.
So yeah, end of the game was pretty interesting, but definitely thought there were some cheap shots there, and I don't know how Greg Williams is still a coach in the NFL. But yeah, it's kind of on the Broncos too. People are still ripping on the Broncos for it being such a close game, but I don't know. I feel like they're, for having a third string quarterback, he played quite well. And I think the 3 interceptions, I think those, like, taking the interceptions one by one, you can kind of see how, like, that could happen to rookies. And he basically is a rookie. So I think those are excusable interceptions, especially when you're playing the Jets and your defense and the rest of your teammates can bail you out. All right. I think that's pretty good for this reaction. Kind of said everything I was thinking of. Anything to add before we head out?
Game 2 is tonight. Lakers Heat.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
had
right.
a reaction video.
Yeah,
I was
good
playing
job.
Among Us. Well, I was trying to multitask, but yeah, Game 2 is tonight. Like I said, I want it to be an entertaining series. I don't really care who wins. I just want it to be like close. So I'm rooting for the Heat for now,
Yeah.
but I think the Lakers are gonna pull it out. So
I do too. I'm gonna go
tonight.
Lakers. I didn't see the first game, and I'm not gonna see the game tonight because I'm working. Hopefully, I'll see Game 3, but I don't know. I'm kind of bummed the Nuggets didn't really go very far. But yeah, I'm still sad about that. But yeah, we'll have to see where the Broncos go down the line. I think if they win, maybe like one more. I think if they win, well, actually, Drew Lock could be back by the Miami game. But I think if they can have a competitive game against the Patriots, they're not going to win, and I don't think they need to win. But I think if they're competitive with the Patriots, it'll really help them. Just knowing that they got close with the Patriots, beat the Jets, knowing that going into the rest of the season, they could have a chance to dig themselves out of the grave at least a little bit. So thanks for joining us, guys. Let's see. Might do game 2 video. We'll see. But we'll see you guys in the next one.